All right, welcome back to eSIM Studios. We have the S25 Ultra here. Going to do a comparison video. Going to compare the S25 Ultra to the S24 Ultra, and then also going to compare it to the OnePlus 13. Also going to compare it to the iPhone 16 Pro Max here as well. Now I'm recording on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, which I did want to compare it to, but I'm sure we'll find a comparable phone here. I'm probably pretty close to its predecessor, the S24 Ultra, just with rounded corners, as you can tell. So let's move these to the side. Let's move this over here and take a look. As you can tell, the camera, well, let's go ahead and pull this in. So here is the design. Pretty darn similar. Get your S Pen down there. Got a nice flush edge on this side. You got your two mics up top right there, as you can tell. And your volume and power rockers right there. Let's go ahead and bring this in and we'll compare the two. As you can tell, this is the Samsung exclusive color, the titanium jet black. So all the other S25 Ultras, similar to the S24 series, S24 Ultra, now they did a little better color matching the borders around some of these colors. But as you can tell, this one is, I like the all black. I like the blacked out. It looks freaking badass. It looks like the Batmobile. Just looks nice and all blacked out. Looks so cool. Now, this is lighter. So I noticed on a few videos I was watching yesterday, it's noticeably lighter in your hand than this one. Let's see here. Let's compare. So the height, it's flush. Like I cannot tell any difference on the height. I mean, if anything, it's literally a hair taller, but I think just tilting it to the side, it's literally, when I rub my finger over it, it's exactly the same height. Now, let's test the width of it. Let's put these two on the side that are flush and look at. Okay, so the new one, the S25 Ultra, is thinner. So it's actually thinner when you hold it in your hand, because when I rub my finger over it, this is sitting down farther. I'm not sure you'll be able to tell. Let's see here if I can get them straight. So it's about the size of the mid frame on the right side. If you just shave that off. So look, it's not noticeably thinner, but I mean it's thinner. I mean it's definitely sits lower on this side than the predecessor side, the S24 Ultra side. And width is kind of hard to tell. Technically, this is a little, I think it's like 0.1 or 0.2 millimeters thinner. I think it's 8.2 millimeters for the S25 Ultra. And the S24 Ultra, I may put it on the screen after I do this. I'll do some homework and find out what the depths are of each phone. But this one is a little thinner, not as wide, and it weighs less. And the depth, it's when it sits down on a table, how tall it sits up off the table, is just maybe a 0.1 or 0.2 millimeters thinner. So slightly smaller size, just barely. I love it. I actually like the completely flat front, completely flat back of this device. Just holding it in the hand, it does feel better. Like it feels like you're holding. I know some are gonna probably come at me for saying this, but it feels like you're holding an iPhone, and that's not a bad thing, right? So many Samsung's been getting so much crap for copying Apple or doing this, doing that, but look, they're refining their product. Apple's got a fantastic hardware, right? That's why they haven't changed it in 6 years, because it's just phenomenal. Now, software, it's another story. I hate using iOS, but I love holding this phone, right? And you get that same feeling with this one. It just feels more premium. I think it looks good. But any more comparisons? Let's see. Weighs less, it's thinner, and not as thick. Yeah, so S Pen's on the same side. As you can tell, the S Pen, the speaker, and the power is unchanged. Still have the two mics up top, and looks to be phenomenal. So we have some case reviews to do that I'm about to record, but let's see what it looks like compared to this iPhone. So this is the 16 Pro Max. Now, damn, that is exactly the same height as well. Oh my gosh, there's no difference here in the height. I mean, it's literally the same height. See which one is wide. Wow, it's exactly the same on this side as well. Did I move it? Both of these can stand up because they both have flat sides. Now if I can, I don't want them to slide, so I'm trying to lock them in place here. Yep, as you can tell, exactly the same. Now, you can tell here, iPhone has much more rounded corners because you can tell the Samsung pokes through there at the bottom. Sorry, it's sliding around, but you get the idea. The Samsung does have more of a right angle, although it's not a sharp right angle. The iPhone is more rounded, but I kind of like the boxy rounded that the S25 Ultra has got. Just looks more premium than the S24 Ultra. Now the S24 Ultra is a badass phone, we all know that. But I think they just refined it, right? So, and that's good. That's going to be your decision. If you have an S24 Ultra, look, you may not want to upgrade, and that's totally fine. People like me, definitely upgrading, but look, I get it, right? I did a video yesterday kind of going through the pros and cons and stuff like that, but I totally understand. Now, if you have an S23 series, S22 series, or anything older than that, you're going to want to upgrade, trust me. Now, let's check the newly released OnePlus 13. Interesting here. So this has got a completely flat screen. This has a quad curved nano display, meaning it's still curved around all four sides. But the display with the actual where the AMOLED display is, the pixels are, is actually flat. It's just the curved is just the little black border you see all around the display right there. But let's put these together and see height wise. Wow, these are all the exact same height. Look, it may be 0.01 millimeters off, but I mean it's right there. All these are like all the same. Look at that. Interesting. Now, width feels like it's about the same as well. The S25 Ultra seems like it might be a hair taller. So let's see. Pretty close. Look at that. Both stand up. So I'm going to lock them in place. Is that right? So maybe literally S25 Ultra, just a hair wider, but probably 0.01 millimeters wider. And then height, depth, the S25 Ultra looks to be thicker, meaning this side thicker than the OnePlus 13. Now, OnePlus 13 can be a little tricky because, look, you have to take into consideration the screen is curved on the front and the back is curved to go into that mid frame, to go into this center part. So you can't just take the chrome part of the OnePlus 13. You have to include that little curvature on the front and curvature on the back, and then add that onto the mid frame. But I can pull up all those numbers. But just for the naked eye, it basically looks the same as well. So all three of these phones are big compared to the S25 Ultra. Okay, so I switched cameras. I'm now recording on the OnePlus 13. So I have the Pixel 9 Pro XL here, and got a good comparison for us. So I compared the S25 Ultra to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and then to the outgoing S24 Ultra and the OnePlus 13 I'm recording on, but was originally recording on this. So let's go ahead and compare these. So Pixel 9 Pro XL S25 Ultra. Let's go ahead. Speaking of, look at the difference of these blacks. Pretty freaking close. Just a shade different, but the material feels the same. So if you're wondering which one to order, if you have a Pixel 9 Pro or 9 Pro XL, the same black. I think the Pixel 9 Pro has a matte black. It may be a shiny black. Anyways, if you have a black Pixel 9 Pro XL just like this, it has that, this is glass, but it has like a matte finish to it, right? Well, guess what? This is basically the same, just a slightly different shade. You can tell in the light there. Damn, I got to clean these phones. Just basically the same, as you can tell there. But let's go ahead and get the comparison here. Again, wow, I'm shocked. All of these phones are exactly the same height. That's crazy. So again, they're all the phones I've tested, all the same height. Now, width-wise, it appears the S25 Ultra, as you can tell, is just a thumbnail. It's just a thumbnail wider than the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Now, width-wise, depth-wise, it's hard to tell with this camera hump right here. It's a huge camera hump. It has to be because these have the best cameras on the market. But let's see if I can do this. Does it look like it's the same width? Interesting. I don't know. It looks pretty freaking close. I guess you can tell down here. Pretty close. So it's pretty close to these dimensions. The Pixel is more rounded. Again, just like the iPhone. Excuse me. Yes, the Pixel is more rounded. These edges in the S25 Ultra has rounded edges, but they're more sharp, right? It's almost a sharp right angle, just slightly rounded. But as you can tell, so the Pixel, when you hold it in your hand, trying to get the feel comparison, feels a little better holding it just because it does have flat sides all the way around, right? S25 Ultra has got those sharp right angles on either side, as you can tell here. But it nonetheless, it feels really good in your hand. So that's the size comparison. Basically the same dimensions. It's just this Pixel has more rounded corners up here, right? And basically all three of these are almost the exact same size, which is very interesting. I thought there would be a little more variation than this, but very, very interesting to see the size differences. Well, the non-size differences. They have more similarities in size than not. So kind of surprised by that. But anyways, that'll give you a good comparison just to let you know if you have any one of these devices, it's basically going to be the same as far as the dimensions. Now, the only thing different is going to be probably just how it feels in your hand. So out of all of these, I like this because I think it weighs less than any of these. Again, I think if you get this device, the S25 Ultra, you're going to be shocked just how, I'm not going to say how light it is. It's not like picking up a piece of paper, but it's noticeably lighter than last year. And I think you're going to be surprised if you get one when you first hold it in your hand. This one's nice to hold because it does have the curved back and curved front, so it does kind of fit in your hand just right. And this is really unique on the back. Like a vegan leather type of microfiber type of feel on here, so it's not necessarily slick or slippery like the black one that we have is very slippery, and this blue one gives you a nice little grip. But it fits in your hand perfectly because the curvatures here, it does have completely flat sides, but again, front and back are curved, so it just kind of cradles in your hand really well. Buttons are really nice, really nicely placed. Boom here for the power, and then your volumes up and down, and then you got your alert slider right here. So that's nice. This one, I was glad they moved to a flat display, but I was still not satisfied because it did not have completely flat edges. Now, this is flat. The very bottom, that's 100% flat. The very top, that's 100% flat. But there's still a little curvature on either side. And I'm glad to see they finally made both left and right side completely flat, and then just rounded the corners. I was a fan of this, and I was, again, very happy that they went to a flat display. I'm so glad that these companies are getting over this stupid curved screen thing. I mean, this, I was hoping it would be completely flat, the OnePlus 13. Now, the OnePlus 13R is completely flat, but the OnePlus 13 still got a little curvature, so I was kind of bummed out to see that, but not a big deal here. But I'm really excited to see them go, Samsung with the S25 Ultra, they go completely flat sides, completely flat front, completely flat back. That's what I like. And I think it's just a little more refined than this one. Now, I know you might say, well, this one has curved edges on either side, so it should cradle in your hand pretty well, like this one does. And that's true, it does, but here was my issue. When I hold it, the corner right here, this corner right here where the S Pen comes out, would always kind of, and everybody's different, right? But just for me personally, it kind of felt it would get in the way. This corner, or if I held it in my right hand, this corner would always get in the way of whatever I'm doing, or even if it was in my pocket. It would always kind of get, it was just kind of bugging me. And again, it's a personal thing, so it may not affect everybody. So that's why I think when you hold this one this year, with the corners rounded, you don't get that feeling. You don't get that jab in your palm feeling. It feels nice. Yes, you can tell it's flat on the sides. And true, and look, depending on who you are and what size hands you have, that might feel a little better, but this one, for me personally, feels better because I don't get that jab in my palm, and it is lighter to hold. Noticeably lighter. So I prefer this, so I'm very happy they moved to this. And then with the iPhone, this one fits in your hand very nicely. It's just very heavy. So I'm sure many iPhone users out there watching this know exactly what I'm talking about. Very beautiful design, classic look, very, very good hardware, some of the best in the business. And it fits in your hand perfect because, look, this does have completely flat sides, mid-frame, all the way around. However, they kind of have a slight curvature, not as drastic as the OnePlus 13 from the front and the back, meeting the mid-frame here. But if you can tell, let me see if I can, it's going to want to zoom in on all these other devices I have here. Look at this. So let me focus. Now, this does have a screen protector, but you can still see how right where the glass meets the mid-frame, the metal, you can see just this little part right here is just curved into the mid-frame. And same thing with the back here. Check this out. So it's not a complete 90-degree sharp right angle going from the back glass to the side rail, or the front glass to the side rail. It's like a micro nano, more nano than the OnePlus 13, because this is technically, it's called nano curved. Well, this is like extra nano curved because it's just ever so slightly curved in, and it's even hard to tell. So, but just that little curvature, not like a sharp right angle like on a protractor where you have a right angle, you're going to get a sharp corner like this, right? So it's not like this meets this, where it's literally a sharp angle. Because if you had this going to the side rail, it would be a pain in your palm holding this device. Now, I'm not talking about the corners, I'm talking about the sides, right? So this actually fits in your hand. It is very nice to hold. It's just very, very heavy. Feels like you have a brick in your hand, right? But very nice device. Sold millions of these. And actually need to use this more. So we will get a lot of use out of this here in the next few weeks. We're going to be testing the cameras here. And yes, I still have CapCut and TikTok on here. I know some are sad that you removed it off your phone. Guess what? App Store doesn't have it anymore. Well, those of y'all that did not remove it from your phone are probably rejoicing. Oh, by the way, did y'all see those phones on eBay that people are selling iPhones that have TikTok and CapCut installed on eBay for like $3, $4, $5,000 because you can't. The app stores aren't carrying TikTok or CapCut anymore. And on iPhone, you can't sideload applications. So if you have CapCut and TikTok on your phone, you're in luck. If you don't have it on your phone, you're screwed. So these iPhones that have TikTok and CapCut installed are going for like $5,000 on eBay. And here's the other thing: don't get tricked up. I've seen Samsung devices, Android devices on eBay that say TikTok and CapCut installed, fully working for $7,000. I'm like, what the hell? Well, newsflash, you can sideload applications on Android, so don't fall for that. If you want to know how to do it, holler at me in the comments. I'll direct you to a video I did last week showing you how to install it on an Android phone. But don't fall for that. You can install it on any Android device, CapCut and TikTok. It's just iPhone that you can't do that, but unless you're in the EU, right? But most of my viewers are in America. But anyways, getting back to this, so very happy to see this design. I think it's a classic design. Now they're supposed to change their design language for the S26 series or the S26 Ultra next year. I don't know what they're going to switch to. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if it's going to be a variation of this. I don't know if they're going to do it all across the top like a Pixel. I don't know if they're going to bunch them up like an iPhone. I don't know if they're going to put them on some kind of island like the OnePlus 13. But Samsung kind of cornered itself in design-wise because no matter what Samsung does, when they change their design next year, they're going to get called out for anything they do. If they go all across the top, right? Let's say they do that, go all across the top. Oh, you copied Pixel because Pixel has theirs cameras, sensors across the top. And don't forget, iPhone is moving their Pro Series and the iPhone 17 Air to camera sensors across the top. So if Samsung moves across the top, they're too late to the party because people are going to say, oh, you copied Pixel, you copied Apple. Well, okay, if Samsung puts these in more of a bunched area, like what if they just take this one and put it right here? So it's kind of like a star design, like just move this sensor and put it like right here, where they're kind of like going in a triangle this way. Well, then say, oh, you copied iPhone because they have a triangle array of sensors. And then if they move in, bunch them up together, they can say, oh, you copied OnePlus. So basically, Samsung's kind of cornered themselves in this design language position. It puts them in a weird spot because I think no matter what they do, they're going to be called out for copy. Now, people, I think people smart like you and I, me sitting here recording this and you watching this, I think most of us are smart enough to know that these designs are years in the making. Like if and when Samsung comes out with a new S26 Ultra design or S26 series where it looks different, right? Because this looks pretty similar to this. Well, they've been stuck on the same design for the S25, 24, 23, 22. So that's 25, 24, 4 years. 21 had the... 21 looked like this. The sensors were just like that. It just had a kind of a camera island. So basically 5 years then, because all they did with the 21 going into the 22, they just removed that camera island off of there, and you had those 4 or 5 sensors remain. But these are years in the making. So if Samsung does have a new S26 look, they've probably been cooking this up in design department for, I don't know, 2-3 years probably. So and they all have different designs, and then they vote on them, and they slowly eliminate a couple from consideration, and they ultimately get it down to 3 or 2, and then they vote for the best one, and then they move forward with that design. But it takes years to hammer a design down. So anyways, that's in the future. This is now. I think you're really going to like this if you get this device. I think you're going to be surprised at just how much weight they've shaved off. I think it's like, well, I don't know. I don't want to put out a number there. I'm not sure of, but you'll be surprised. It's not as heavy, and I think that's a beautiful thing. That's a very good thing. It's a big phone, so you don't want it to weigh as much as an iPhone, right? So very nice, very beautiful looking device, and I love the Samsung exclusive color titanium jet black. So I am going to get out of here. I got a bunch of cases that were shipped to me yesterday and today, so I'm going to start recording case reviews. So if you have a Samsung device, subscribe to the channel. If you have a OnePlus device, subscribe to the channel. If you have an Apple iPhone, subscribe to the channel. If you have a Pixel, if you're hashtag Team Pixel, subscribe to the channel. We are as well. And if you have a nothing device, you got it. Subscribe to the channel. Speaking of that, Nothing Phone 3, I think, is coming out here in a couple months. So we're definitely getting that as well. So we do case reviews, we do comparison videos, we do it all. We talk about news, we talk about rumors, everything mobile technology here at eSIM Studio. So subscribe so you get notified of every new video we upload and whenever we go live. So appreciate the time. Let me get out of here and see you on the next one. Peace.